welcome back. For most people in a six-figure business who have created a six-figure business and they're struggling to scale past that point, the constraint is that you are currently running a high-paying job, not a business asset that is separate from yourself. And we've talked about this a couple times. The constraint, the thing keeping you from expanding into your seven-figure, multi-seven-figure ambition isn't your market size. It's not a lack of ideas. It's not a lack of audience members. It's not a lack of customers in your sphere. It's a flawed business structure where your labor is the key ingredient. And that is the problem. The moment you transition from six-figure entrepreneur to someone who is scaling, your most valuable asset is no longer your skill set. It's now your vision and your time. But before we talk strategy, let's talk about the symptoms of a sort of limited business architecture. And if this is you, if you're stuck in the service provider trap, you're going to recognize some of these. You feel that knot in your stomach when you check your email, knowing that you are the only one who can solve 90% of the problems that are coming in, and those problems just keep coming in. You might have free time on your calendar, but you can't actually turn off because the entire system might crash without you. You're making more money than ever, but you quietly resent your clients, your team, and your success because it demands your energy. It demands too much of your energy. And you're actually hesitant to go bigger and think even bigger and scale even bigger because you believe it's going to require more energy and time from you. And that's just stuff that you don't have in the tank. Those are not personal flaws. It's not a problem with you or your capacity or your energy. It's a systemic alert that you're in the wrong role in your business now. You're acting in the role of a service provider and not the CEO of a seven-figure company. Two different roles. The first mistake is arbitrage failure. You're spending a lot of time doing tasks that can be bought for $25 or $30 an hour. But your time is worth thousands of dollars per hour, but you're still running your business as if you are the task doer. You're running a constant arbitrage loss on your time. And the second error that I see a lot is vision dilution. If you don't switch from service provider to CEO, what happens is you're trading the highest leverage work, the strategy, the intellectual property creation for the lowest leverage work, tactical execution of tasks. And you can't see a seven-figure vision when you're buried in 50K level tasks. You're not embodying or communicating that vision to the market when you are buried in 50K level tasks. You're diluting your own authority when you're prioritizing the tasks ahead of the mission, the tasks ahead of the vision and the strategy and the execution of that vision in the market. And I think some of this comes from a really misunderstood definition of scaling. I'm going to collectively take ownership of this on behalf of business mentors everywhere. Scaling is not just making more money this year than you did last year. We have a misunderstanding in the market about what scaling means. Scaling is not about taking what you're doing now and just making it bigger. That's multiplied hustle. That is not scaling. Scaling is a true structural substitution, right? Removing yourself from the core workflow, removing yourself from the daily task doing, the engine portion of your business, and replacing your labor with documented intellectual property, systems, and scalable client delivery. And I know this because I was stuck at a 100K per year ceiling for 18 months in my business. For 18 months, my business did not grow past 10-ish K months. And I thought the solution that's posited to nearly everybody in this industry is, oh, you just need to outsource some tasks and free up some more of your time. So I thought the solution was outsource some tasks. I had a VA for email, some freelancers to do client delivery in the agency, and I was trying to buy back my calendar, not upgrade my identity. And therein was the problem. The system was still built around me, the doer. And as soon as I got rid of a task, my calendar instantly filled back up. The breakthrough only happened, and I was only able to scale when I realized I needed a role change, not to simply offload tasks to somebody else. I didn't need 2 calendars worth of time to work with. I needed an entire structural shift within my business. The shift from service provider to unrelatable CEO is not a simple preference. If you are scaling, it is a structural, non-negotiable mandate. You have to create a business engine that is not you if you are going to scale. So let's talk about embodying that new role as a CEO. The unrelatable CEO's time is dedicated only to the strategic architecture, the vision, the direction, and leadership in the business, not task execution. Your roles are defining the future position of the company. And this is one of the only non-delegatable duties you have in your business. Defining the future position of the company, the 5-year strategy, the evolution of the business, the mission within your market. You dictate the destination and the team executes along the route. And that's one of the things that only you can do as the CEO of your company. You're also becoming the system architect. You design the transferable architecture within the business, the SOPs, the funnels, the offer ecosystem. You manage the flow of the system, not the output of the people. You create the structure within which those people operate. You don't micromanage the tasks within that system. Your value is now in documented IP, not in execution. Another role of the CEO that only you can do, which is where you should be spending your time as the leader of your company, is the decision maker. You make the high stakes, data-driven decisions on where to invest the company's resources. This is up to you and nobody else. It doesn't happen naturally. It doesn't happen without intention. You have to decide, using data and your own instinct as the leader of your company, where are you going to invest the company's financial and energetic capital? This decision-making is based on system performance and certainty, not emotion or reactive problem solving. And it's certainly not based on accident. It's something that you have to take on as a role within your position. And if you are a coach, I work with both coaches and service providers, but if you are a coach, one of the things that you must do as part of your role as a CEO is serve as the embodied example of your work and your mission. Your identity is the highest leverage asset in that case. For example, my boundaries with my working hours. I have Fridays off. I have 2 call days per month. These are strategic constraints that force the business to systematize around them. It's proof that my IP, that my systems work and can work for other people as well. You have to be the example of your work and mission in the world if you are somebody who has a personal brand and you're presenting that work as something that people should invest in. You have to be the example of it. And the biggest blocks I see to a service provider embodying these roles and transferring into the role of CEO are perfectionism and the need to earn it with your own effort. I see this all the time. People have this desperate need to feel like they've earned their 7-figure business with their own effort. And service providers also tend to be addicted to perfection, the belief that only they can do it right. There's no one on this earth that can do the thing that I do, the way that I do it, and as good as I do it, and therefore I must be the one to do it. But the CEO, in contrast, understands that an 80% outcome, an 85%, 90% outcome delivered by a scalable system is infinitely more valuable to the business than a 100% outcome delivered by you, the bottleneck. And by the way, you're not the only one who could do things in your business. There are people who specialize in one of the many things, one of the many hats you are forcing yourself to wear, and they can probably, with a little bit of training and guidance, do it better than you can. You have to surrender the emotional, nitpicky control over the details to gain structural control over the business asset. Your time is only bought back not when you offload tasks off your calendar, but when you achieve systemic certainty within the business. You have to be able to trust the process you designed and trust the team that you hired to own the outcomes that you hired them for. If you're constantly checking tasks, you are operating as the doer, even if you are not the one doing those tasks. Okay? If you're over and micromanaging every little task that comes in and out of the business, you're still operating as the doer. Your systems need to not only clear the time off your calendar, but clear the mental space and the energy that you will now need for the CEO role. It's an entire role shift. And the greatest constraint to making this shift is isolation as a service provider. You can't upgrade your identity in isolation when you haven't embodied this before. You have no idea what you're doing. It's not something they teach in school. I didn't have any idea what I was doing. You can't design this structural shift, this asset alone, when you haven't experienced it and don't know what's possible. When you haven't been in this role before. You wouldn't walk into a hospital and apply to become a doctor without having gone to medical school and done a residency. You may have the brains to become a doctor. You may have the energy and the enthusiasm to become a doctor, but until you experience what it is like, no one will grant you that title. The Unrelatable Mastermind is the only place where we force the CEO identity upgrade and customize this entire architecture to buy back your life, not just clear your calendar. In this episode, I've given you the blueprints for the shift, and now you get to choose. Are you going to remain the engine of your business, or are you going to become the architect? The cost of waiting is going to be paid in your own time and sanity. So if you're ready to commit to trading your day job for a legacy business, the next step is your application to Unrelatable. The link is going to be in the show notes below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you next time.